What's up, fight fans, and welcome back to another KJ MMA show. I am Ryan, he is Garrett, and we have an exciting card this Saturday for you in Dallas. Of course, it's UFC 277, headlined by Julianna Peña and Amanda Nunes. Let's start right there, Garrett, and that's your main event for the 135 title. Julianna Peña is a plus 230 underdog. Amanda Nunes, the former champ, minus 275 favorite. So the big question here is, can Julianna Peña spring the upset again? A lot of people feel like this is the biggest upset in not just MMA history or women's MMA history, in MMA history, period. Can she do it again?
I think she can. And I think this line is a little outrageous considering what Peña did to Nunes in the first fight. Imagine, you're the champion. You decisively beat, the former champion, finished her, and somehow you're over 2-1 dog. That's a little disrespectful. And, if I'm placing any bets on this, I got to take Peña plus 230 all the way up to, plus 230 across the board. But, yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. I don't think anybody should be playing Nunes at minus 275. I don't think she'll cover the price. I don't think she's going to go out there and absolutely dominate Peña, even if she does win. I think it's going to be a closely contested fight. And I got Peña. She's a dog. And, I think Nunes got other things going on in her life right now. Obviously, a family. I think she's trying to open up her own gym as well to get her own fighters under her belt and be a coach. So I kind of think she's going towards that route. And I think Peña is going to be the champ for quite some time. I think she can beat majority of the 135-pound division. Honestly, I think she even beats Shevchenko. Shevchenko comes up at 120 from 125 pounds too. I think they had a close fight the first time, and I think Peña's gotten better since then. And I think it's going to be a lot closer than I know. That line is going to be outrageous, and I will be willing to bet on Peña if that fight actually happens.
Wow. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens moving forward. But first, there is this fight, and I'm just going to get this right out there in the open. I sure hope Julianna Peña wins. I really like her. I watched every episode of this season of The Ultimate Fighter. I think she's a great coach. I think she's a good human being, and she's clearly a very talented fighter. My gut is telling me I'm nervous for her in this one. When we saw Amanda Nunes and Chris Cyborg get in there, I've just never seen a female on that level of just pure destruction. And so I kind of feel like Nunes is coming back with the chip on her shoulder, hungry to avenge that loss. But I don't disagree with anything that you say. From a betting standpoint, why not take a chance on Julianna Peña here? She's a fairly sizable underdog, and she's already beat her once, so it does make sense to go that route here. But my gut tells me I feel like Nunes is going to get it done here and set up a trilogy fight, which who wouldn't want to see that?
We'll see how this plays out, and I don't know if people are going to want to see it. It depends on how this fight happens. Maybe we'll want to see a trilogy fight if it comes to that.
Okay, just to be clear, I am going with Nunes here. I think she gets it done. I think she does finish Peña here in this rematch. The co-main event, equally as interesting. This is for the interim title. Brandon Moreno, Kai Kara-France. Brandon Moreno, a minus 210 favorite. Kai Kara-France, a plus 180 dog. This line seems fairly accurate to me. Do you agree?
I think it's off. I think it should be closer. I think Kai Kara-France is also getting disrespected on the betting lines. Kai Kara-France, he's got a ton of momentum coming into this fight. He's looked great. He's shown that his defensive grappling has gotten a lot better. He out-grappled and was able to out-scramble arguably the best grappler in the division in Askar Askarov, who actually gave Moreno a lot of trouble in the grappling. So if Moreno does take down Kai, I feel like he'll be able to get back to his feet. And where on the feet, I think he's the better striker between the two. I think he's faster. He's got more power. He's much harder to hit. And if anybody's knocking anyone down, I think it's Kai Kara-France. And honestly, if I'm being frank, I think Kai Kara-France knocks him out inside 3 rounds.
Whoa. Okay, man. That would be very interesting, and that would definitely shake up the division, no doubt about it. These guys did fight before. What was it, back in 2019? And Brandon Moreno won a UD. Since then, Kai Kara-France, he's won 4 of his 5 fights. He lost to Brendan Royval, but he has beat Askar Askarov, Rogerio Bontorin, Tyson Nam. I don't know, man. I'm kind of leaning towards Moreno here. I just feel like he's so dynamic, and as much as I like Kai Kara-France and I like where he comes out of and the guys that he has around him day to day, they're a bunch of killers, even if they are in significantly bigger weight classes. I just feel like Moreno there's something different about him. He just oozes champion, and I don't see him losing this fight.
It just depends on what Moreno you're getting, because if it's the Moreno that fought Figueiredo the second time, Moreno should wipe the floor with Kai Kara-France. But if it's Moreno that fought Figueiredo the last time, Kai Kara-France will probably knock him out.
Okay, well, that's a really interesting fight. That's your co-main event. So we'll move to another really interesting bout on the main card. Talk about a slobber knocker. This is in the heavyweight division. Derek Lewis, a underdog, a plus 120 underdog to Sergey Pavlovich, who's a minus 140 favorite. And I don't agree with this line. I like Sergey Pavlovich. I think he's a very tough fighter, and I think he's got a bright future, but who has he really fought? And when you look at who Derek Lewis has fought, the who's who of the heavyweight division, he's been in there with the absolute biggest killers that there are. So I like Lewis here. I think he's going to find that chin eventually, unless Pavlovich fights a smart fight and doesn't allow Lewis to stay at range and land a big shot. I think it's going to depend on if Sergey is going to fight an intelligent fight here, or if he's going to get sucked into a heavyweight barn burner where they're slinging leather.
Yeah, I'm taking Sergey Pavlovich. I actually got him early at plus 110 in the week. I feel like if you get plus money on either side, it's the right way to go, because one punch from either one of these two fighters, probably would be a knockout. But on paper, Pavlovich is pretty much better than Lewis everywhere other than punching power. And we know that Pavlovich will probably be winning on the scorecards as well. So Lewis is KO or bust. So if you're betting Lewis, might as well bet him by KO, because it's very slim chance he wins on the scorecards, and there's no other possible avenue for him to win. He's not the better grappler. He's not the better technical striker. He's not the guy that's going to out-volume his opponent. He's not going to out-cardio his opponent. He's literally he's got that power in his hands, and if he lays it on you and in the right spot, you can go out. But if he doesn't, he's probably going to lose. And I just think Lewis is on the end of his career at this point. I don't think he's going to contend for the title anytime soon. And we see that you can finally beat this guy. I mean, if you just don't get hit square in the chin, you can beat Lewis.
Okay, I'm really intrigued by that fight. We could have a new heavyweight contender if Pavlovich goes in there, wins it impressively. Let's move to 205. Anthony Smith, a major underdog, plus 410 against Magomed Ankalaev, a minus 520 favorite. Look, I think Ankalaev is going to win this fight, right? Like, he's in the middle of his prime. It's crazy. We're talking about this recently with someone else. And Anthony Smith, you think that he's closing in on 40 years old because it's just how long he's been around, how many fights he's had. He's only 33. It just goes to show you how many high-level fights the guy's been in. He's been in the UFC for quite a while now. And I just think Ankalaev right now is his time. I don't expect him to have a slip up here. As much as I like Anthony Smith and how durable I think he is, I like Ankalaev.
Yeah, I do as well. This is his time, like you said. I feel like he should be fighting for the title fairly soon, within the next 2 or 3 fights. He's good everywhere. He's shown it. He's not a very flashy fighter. He's not an exciting fighter, but he does what he needs to do to win. Outstrikes his opponent, out-grapples his opponent. Sometimes he'll get a knockout. Sometimes he doesn't. I don't expect a knockout here. I expect him to win by decision at plus 100. That cuts down the line immensely. We know how tough Smith is. I don't think he's going to get knocked out. And obviously, Smith is not going to get submitted by Ankalaev either. So I'm taking a shot on Ankalaev to win by decision at plus 100.
All right, let's move to the little guys here. Alex Perez, plus 155 dog against Alexandre Pantoja, a minus 180 favorite. I think that's a fair line. I think Pantoja should win this fight. Their skill sets are close. I wouldn't be surprised if Perez sprung the small upset and won, but I like Pantoja here. I like this line.
Yeah, I agree with this line as well. Minus 180 seems about right. I think Pantoja is probably at his peak right now. He's looked great in his last 2 fights, getting some really good wins there. He's looking for another quality win against Perez, moving up the ladder. He'll probably put his name in title contention after this win. After the unification bout, Pantoja is probably next on the doorstep if he gets this win, and I expect him to. The only thing the knock on him is he doesn't throw a ton of volume, but he's probably going to be the one that's going to be pressing forward. He's going to be the one that's going to be landing the harder shots, and if it gets to the mat, I like his scramble ability. I know Perez has some good wrestling, but he gets caught in submissions, and he can get out scrambled on the mat as well. So I think there's more ways for Pantoja to get the win here, so I'm taking him at minus 180.
All right, let's move to Drew Dober and Rafael Alves. Dober's a minus 190 favorite coming off that big win over Terrence McKinney. But, man, he suffered some adversity in that fight. He was lucky to get the win there, and now he's going up against Alves, who's a plus 160 dog. Does Dober make it 2 in a row here and get this victory?
I have Alves bringing the upset. I got him at plus 200 early in the week. The dude's a banger. We've seen it, in the Mark Jack Casey fight, the club and sub, very impressive there. I kind of expect more of the same. Dober gets hit and gets hit very, very often. Leaves his chin there. Alves is going to make him pay. He's got some nasty calf kicks as well. And obviously he's, I believe, a jiu-jitsu black belt, and he's got a nasty guillotine. So if he hits him and he rocks him, he's jumping on that neck, and I think he's going to get him out of there probably inside 2 rounds. He's going to finish Dober, and I expect him to put his name up there. And then he's talking about he wants to fight Rafael Fiziev as well. He's like, I'm not the, there's 3 Rafaels in this division. So and obviously he's not going to get that fight after a Dober win, but he's going to put his place out there, show that there's more than just 2 Rafaels in the lightweight division. So I'm expecting him to get a big win here. What
would the over under be for Drew Dober being the most handsome guy in the UFC? Because I know a lot of females feel that way.
Man, he's got that crimson chin going on there, from the Fairly Odd Parents. He's got that granite chin, but sometimes that chin gets tested a lot.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, let's move to welterweight. This is a really intriguing fight. Alex Morono versus Matthew Semmelsberger. Morono a plus 135 dog. Semmelsberger minus 155 favorite. I kind of just want to stay the heck away from this one because I feel like it could go either way. Do you feel like it's going to go a certain way, Garrett?
I don't know, man. It's tough. I think they're both very well-rounded fighters. Morono's a jiu-jitsu black belt, hardly ever uses it, but he uses it defensively, and both of them got power to knock your lights out. So I feel like it's going to be fairly even. I don't think anybody's going to get knocked out because I feel like both of them are quite durable as well. I know Semmelsberger packs more of a punch than Morono, so we'll see what happens, but I expect a barn burn between these two. These 2 are going to come, throw down in the middle, and leave it all out there. As far as who I'm picking, I'll probably take Semmelsberger.
Okay, I might lean that way too. I do feel like he's someone that you got to keep your eyes on. He's a pretty tough guy. All right, heavyweights, Dontel Mays, minus 190 favorite against Hamdi Amdel Wahab. Hopefully I said that right. He's a plus 160 underdog. He's only 3-0, which is crazy. You don't see a whole lot of guys with that little experience in the UFC, but here he is, and he's a heavyweight, so he's got a lot of power. Can he move to 4-0 as a small underdog, or do you think the favorite Dontel Mays gets the win?
I don't know, man. As far as betting wise, I'm probably gonna stay away from this fight, but there's no part of me that wants to bet Dontel Mays at minus 190, especially against anybody that can remotely wrestle him. Hamdi is an Olympic wrestler, and he's got some pretty good power in his hands. Granted, not against the best of competition. He's managed by first round management, so how they get guys in that are 3-0, 4-0 that technically shouldn't be in the UFC. This could be one of those situations where they got someone in way too quick. And, they do that a lot with these game bred fight cards or the icon fight cards. They get guys, they feed them, guys that probably shouldn't be fighting them. Just like, Hamdi's last opponent, dude was completely out of shape, looked like a pear, like literally was just like that and around. But, we'll see what happens. On paper, Dontel Mays probably should win because he's more experienced, he's longer, he's taller, he's got more power. But there's always that Hamdi can take him down and just beat him up and TKO him just like that. So that's why I'm kind of staying away for this fight. But if I had to pick a winner, it'd probably be Dontel Mays.
All right, now the biggest favorite on this card is Michael Morales, minus 600 against Adam Fugit, who's a plus 450 dog. Michael Morales looks like he is the real deal. This kid, it looks like he could be a future champion. I thoroughly expect him to win this fight and maybe win it quickly. Do you feel the same way about Michael Morales?
Oh, absolutely. With Adam Fugit, you could just say Fugit, Fugit, because
forget about it.
Forget about this fight because minus 600, you're not going to bet on him. Plus 450 on the comeback, you're not going to bet on Adam Fugit either. So I would probably pass altogether. Under 1.5 rounds, minus 133. Probably that hits, but at any given time, the over 1.5 could possibly. I don't know. I'm staying away from this fight altogether. But Michael Morales is getting the win. He's gonna look impressive. He probably gets the win inside the distance. Morales by knockout, it's minus 135. Morales by decision plus 400, but probably he's gonna get a knockout. So yeah, I got Morales rolling through Adam Fugit.
Yeah, forget about it. Michael Morales all day. Drakkar Klose, minus 205 favorite over Rafa Garcia, who's a plus 175 dog. This one could get interesting. I'm staying away from this one. Do you think Drakkar Klose and his wrestling gets it done?
I hope it does because I'm not a fan of Rafa Garcia. I just don't think he's that good. He's an okay fighter. And the thing is, the man just always burst my parlays and that when I bet against him. So I'm kind of gonna play it by ear, maybe make a small in-play bet depending on how the line goes on this fight. I think Dracarkos should be able to get this win, but I'm not going to pay a premium of -205 all the way up to -250. I think that's absurd kind of price there. So I'm kind of staying away, but I got Dracarkos getting it done.
Well, Ryan Kosi is back in action. -190 favorite against Blood Diamond, a +160 dog. First of all, is that the best name in all of combat sports? I think it might be Blood Diamond.
I think so. I mean, who else has a cooler nickname than name, not nickname,
yeah,
full-blown name, Blood Diamond.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, he just sounds like he's born to be a fighter, but he's an underdog against Kosi. Can Orion get back in the win column?
I just don't know where Kosi ever looked like a -190 favorite, even against a guy in Blood Diamond who, doesn't have the best takedown defense. And I understand that because he's a kickboxer, but he's been working tirelessly to get better at it. Wells didn't have an easy time taking him down. Yes, once he got it down, that was all she wrote. But Wells is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt training over at Team Renzo Gracie in Philadelphia. Orion Kosi is nowhere near the level of athlete that Jeremiah Wells is on the mat. So Kosi may get some takedowns early, but I expect him to fade later on. And I think Blood Diamond gets him out of there probably the late second, early third round.
Ji Yeon Kim and Jocelyn Edwards. It's a pretty close fight. Edwards the -130 favorite. Ji Yeon Kim +110 dog. How do you like this? These betting odds, Garrett?
If you're going to bet on this fight, I'd probably take a shot on Kim just because she's, the underdog here. I believe this is at flyweight, if I'm not mistaken, right? No, it's a bantamweight fight.
Yeah, 135.
Kim is, I believe, coming up to 135, while Jocelyn Edwards is coming down from 145. So it's going to be interesting to see the gas tank of both women. But on the feet, I think Kim is just a little bit better, a little bit more technical. She throws out a ton of volume, which I really like. Talking about she's throwing probably upwards of 15 or so strikes per minute, and she's landing almost 6 strikes per minute. So that's pretty damn good. Anything could happen in women's MMA. But if you're betting on a women's MMA fight that's kind of close and it's going to go to the judges, you might as well take a shot on the underdog.
Yeah, that's a good point. One more fight to go, and then that will cover the whole UFC 277 card. Negma Murano versus Ihor Potiera. Man, I'll tell you what, these names, it's just unbelievable. You got to go to college to understand how to pronounce them right. This is basically a pick 'em. Do you like these guys one way or the other? I mean, both of their records are amazing. Nick is 12-1. Ihor is 20-2. So, neither one of them experienced many losses here. Do you like one more than the other here, Garrett?
I don't rate either one really highly at all. They haven't been impressive at all. I mean, Negma Murano, he beat Villanueva and Kamer, lost to Safarov, and should have lost to Zachukwu as well. So technically he should be 2-2 and lost, to bad competition and to one good competition and barely beat 2 bad competition. So, and then on the flip side, Ihor, he, I believe, is a Contender Series alumni. Never good to bet on a Contender Series alumni who wasn't very impressive as a favorite either. I wouldn't make a play on that. I wouldn't make a play on this fight at all. But if I had to choose, I'd probably take Negma Murano just because of the fact that he's got the experience edge of the two, fought the much better competition, and just looked just a smidge better than Ihor.
All right. Well, it really is an exciting card top to bottom, UFC 277. Again, it takes place this Saturday in Dallas, Texas. That's going to do it for this show. Make sure you subscribe to the Vegas Odds YouTube channel and their Twitter channel as well. They're pumping out content on a daily basis. So make sure you go subscribe now. For Garrett, I am Ryan. We will see you guys next week.